Hey guys, Mr. Thomas Wick here. This is going to go over one of our 3 theorems that we did in the jigsaw activity today. You should have this theorem down in your notes already from that activity, but in case you were absent today, or in case you just wanted to go back and review this, we did go ahead and record this proof on video so that you would have it to be able to view at your pleasure. So the first theorem that we're going to prove is the right angles congruence theorem, and what that says is that all right angles are congruent. Now that seems pretty straightforward and pretty basic and common sense, but because it is a theorem and not a postulate, we do have to prove that before we can use it in anything else that we're going to do. So we are given that angles A and B are right angles, and we're asked to prove that angle A is congruent to angle B. So just a reminder with that given information, we are given that angle A and B are right angles, and just in case you forgot, we use that little box on our angles to indicate a right angle. Anytime you see that, you know that that angle is going to be a right angle. So as we've started out many of our proofs, our first statement that we're going to make is what we were given. The angle A and angle B are going to be right angles. And our reason for that is going to be that we were given it. It's step number 1 right here. Alright, now we need to think about what it means to be a right angle. If you think back to middle school and maybe even late elementary school, a right angle is going to be an angle that measures 90 degrees. So I'm going to state that measure of angle A is equal to 90 degrees since it's a right angle, and that the measure of angle B is going to be 90 degrees since it also is a right angle. And what allows us to say that is just simply the definition of a right angle. This would be one of the definitions that are on your interactive notebook that you are given and that you are fair to use at any point. So what we're going to do next is I recognize that I have both the measure of angle A and the measure of angle B equal to 90 degrees. So I'm going to set those equal to each other. Now I'm going to use the transitive property of equality to justify that if A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C. But I could also see an argument being made if you wanted to say that that was the substitution property of equality. Because you really could just sub out one of those for the 90 degrees. So I could see an argument being made either way on that. Anyway, that brings us down to our very last step. Right now we're talking about the measures of angles. Whenever you're talking about the measures, you have that little m in front of it. We want to prove that these angles are actually congruent. So we need to switch from talking about measures and equality to switching to talk about congruency. So the last thing that we do is we change that symbol in the middle and say that angle A, instead of being equal to the measure of angle B, we're going to say that angle A is congruent to angle B. And the thing that allows us to say that is the definition of congruent angles. Alright, there we go. We've proved the right angle congruence theorem. We will make 2 other videos on the ones that we did in the jigsaw activity in case you want to check those out as well. See you then.